Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday if you're watching this on Friday. My name is Sherry Elise, and I am the co-founder of The Wellness Universe. The Wellness Universe is an online community and platform of wellness practitioners, world changers, thought leaders, people that have come to this world to help you heal. We are a directory of resources. We've got live events. We host classes. We really are your one-stop shop for wellness. So make sure that you go check out thewellnessuniverse.com. If you're watching live with us, make sure you say hello in the comments so I don't feel like I'm sitting here alone until our guest comes on. Would love to hear where you're tuning in from. And as always, if you've joined us here before, I ask one small favor, and that favor is please press share, spread the inspiration. There is somebody out there today who is going to need to hear this, and you could be the person that has transformed their life. So just hit share. So as you guys know, every time we do a Woo-inspired session, we are interviewing world changers, our members, as I said, who are changing the world. And today I'm really thrilled to bring this wonderful lady who's doing amazing and transformational work. She has helped tons of people heal from grief and trauma completely. Yes, I said completely. She is a grief and trauma expert, a best-selling author. She's trained extensively in EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, and other energy psychology therapies. Please welcome to the show, Miss Alyson Franz. Hi, Alyson.
Hi.
So nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. So I'm excited for the show because I don't think that there's a one of us that has not experienced some sort of grief or trauma in our lives. And I know that this is the work that you do. And I don't think people just wake up and think, I want to help people heal from this. So I'd love to know just a little bit about your story and what's made you work specifically in this area.
Well, yeah, of course, it's been my personal journey.
Right.
You know, I was trained as a therapist, and originally that's just the work that I did. I was more of a traditional therapist until I lost my dad when I was 29. And my whole life fell apart at that point. I was so devastated and just an emotional wreck. And I went to therapy as a therapist, and it didn't work for me. And I tried a lot of different types of therapy, and nothing worked. So I eventually just made up my mind that I was going to find a way to heal from this. And little by little, I started to manifest what became a journey of personal transformation and totally changed my life, totally changed myself as a person in so many ways. And I'm actually just very grateful for that journey.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry about your dad. But I see that it has actually shaped the work that you do in this world. And do you feel like you finally have stepped into what it is that you're here to do?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of those things that seemed like the worst thing in the world at the time, but it's become a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely. I totally hear that. So just a quick question about grief and trauma in itself. Maybe number one, if you can explain how those work together, but also why do you think that people carry this for so long? Like, why isn't traditional, therapy working? Why can't people just let it go? Why does it take, do you think, sometimes decades with people without healing?
So grief and trauma are closely related because they often resonate in your body in a very similar way. And I think there's a lot of myths out there about grief. Myths that say you're going to have some amount of this pain for the rest of your life. There's myths out there saying that grief is love, quote unquote, and it's not love. I've
never heard that.
Feel good. So there's a lot of myths about grief, about what it is, and if it's even possible to heal from it. And I think that just comes from our medical model here in this country, which is based on Newtonian science. You need form to change form, which tells us we need something like medication to change our internal state, right? And that's not going to deal with the root cause of it. The root cause of grief is really more of a spiritual and energetic issue. And Newtonian science, which is what our medical model is based on, is outdated. So we live in a quantum world, a quantum universe. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't be here on the interview today.
Great. So, I mean, I guess what I'm hearing you say is that it's not, which I think we all know, it's not just about treating the symptoms. It's really about going to the root level of it. And that's the work that you do. Because a lot of people, I'm assuming, are carrying around some sort of trauma in their life that they may not even be aware that they're carrying.
Yes, I see that happen all the time. People are often very surprised when they think, oh, I got over that. That was a long time ago. And it really did resonate in their system, and maybe it's gone into their subconscious, so they're not really realizing that it's still affecting them, but it's playing out in their life in patterns and in other ways that might be affecting their health.
Okay, so you are saying that it is possible, no matter what others say, that you can heal from it completely. What does completely mean? Meaning that we no longer feel it, it's not sitting inside? Explain that just a little bit more before we dive into your process.
Yes, so that means that it's not holding you back. It's not disturbing your life. You are at peace. You are happy again. You enjoy your life. Those are some of the description words that I like to use for when you're healed.
Okay, no, awesome. Love it. So you have created, based on your own healing, this 4-step process, and you're going to share that with all of us. So I'm going to let you go ahead and just take it.
Okay. So yes, I have a 4-step process that you can find in my book, The Grief Cure, A Revolutionary Guide to Healing from Loss. And this 4-step process is based on my own journey, and I've also used it with many of my clients, and it has a super high success rate because we're looking at grief actually from a very deep lens. And it's a very different type of process. You're not going to find other people telling you that this is the way to heal from grief. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't know anyone else offering a solution, because they're just really not getting to those root causes. So step 1 is consciously know and believe that you have the power to heal. And that is such an important step, because if you don't think that you can heal, you're not going to do what it takes in order to, step forward and do the work. And it's very easy to just believe the hype and think that you're stuck feeling like this until whatever date, be it the rest of your life, be it a year, a decade, whatever the case may be. But that is not the case. Believe in your power to heal. That I believe was my first step in how I started manifesting the solution and the transformational journey that I went on. I didn't realize it at the time. However, I just said in my heart, I know there has to be a way to heal from this, and I'm going to figure it out. And that just, triggered the universe to start bringing solutions to me. Step 2 is use energy psychology to release the root causes of the pain from your losses. Now I'm going to explain that just for a second. I know I only have a little bit of time, so I can't go too much in depth. However, a couple things I want to mention is that our losses energetically sort of group together, and they're all related. So you might think that you're grieving the loss of your dog, and you are, but you might also be grieving the divorce that you had 10 years ago or other losses earlier in your life. And that's related to your pain, and it's not conscious, it's unconscious. So that's why you really want to access your subconscious. And that's part of energy psychology, to see what's really there and what's attached to this current loss that also needs to heal. Step 3 is revitalize your self-love and spirituality. And the way that connects to grief is that our self-love is often not what it should be. And that's a very common problem. I think almost all of us as humans, we experience this, right? We have these blocks, like we think we're not good enough, we think that we don't have what it takes, or maybe we're not pretty enough, or whatever the case might be. We judge ourselves. There's some part of ourselves that's, holding on to blocks that are hindering us from really accepting who we are. And what's happened is this relationship that we have to this loss, whether it is a person, a pet, a job, somehow, some way, we've been feeling some kind of love from that relationship. And now that we're not sensing that relationship anymore, we're left sort of with what we just have inside, which is a block. So we need to heal that block in order to get beyond that part of the loss. The other part is our spirituality. And that's just such an important part of grief, because I think that grief is really a spiritual problem. You know, it's not a physical problem. It's on the spiritual plane. You can't see it, you know, and I feel like it sits in our soul. And we really need to get clarity about, where we stand spiritually, and our spiritual nature, the truth of who we are, and how this relates to the loss that we're experiencing. And the final step is E, envision a transformed life and take action, which might seem really hard to believe at the beginning of your journey, because at the beginning of your journey, you are in a lot of emotional pain. However, these first 3 steps are so powerful and so different from anything you've experienced before that you are going to be ready for that. And in this last step, envision a transformed life and take action, I talk about it in my book, and I give you some tools that will help you to figure out what that looks like. So that is my 4-step process very briefly. I could go on and on about it probably for another 30 or 40 minutes, but I know we're on a timer here, so I wanted to keep it really brief and just nugget-sized pieces for everyone.
Yeah, no, that's great, because people can actually, number one, in a little while, we'll tell them how they can get a hold of your book today for free, but also it's an opportunity for them just to know a little bit about the work that you do with them to be able to lead them through this process. Now, I'm curious. First, I loved number one. Number 1 and 4 really spoke to me, because first, about just the belief that you can do this, because if you obviously don't believe that you can do anything, it's going to be really challenging to do anything. And then of course, the last one is the visioning, which I love that you pointed out, for the fact that normally we would be like, yeah, that doesn't seem so feasible, but you're saying the other steps are so powerful that we actually can do that in the very beginning.
Exactly.
Amazing. Love it. Because I think that, when we sit with this grief and this trauma, it seems like we're never going to be able to get out of it. And it almost feels like you are being swallowed up by it. So to be able to have a process through it, I think gives people hope and actually something to hold on to.
Yes, exactly. And I know what it's like to be there. Wishing I had an answer.
Right. Did you figure this out on your own, or did you have assistance when you were going through your loss?
So I did work with healers and coaches and therapists and things like that. However, I kind of did my own navigation. It's very interesting. Like, I had some great supports. However, I feel like internally I navigated the 4 steps without anyone telling me that. And then once I started to use these steps with my clients, not even realizing that I was using these steps, I'm like, wow, they're getting like amazing results too. So I think I'm onto something here. And then just like last year, I really mapped it out and said, what the heck is it that I'm doing with people? What the heck is it that I did that I'm doing with people? And that's my 4-step process. And that's when I wrote my book.
Fantastic. I love that you're helping people heal. And this is why we love our World Changers, because you literally are transforming people, which ultimately transform the world. So I'll say it at the end, but thank you for that. And is the work that you do, is it only for loss, if someone's losing, or could it be some sort of trauma maybe that somebody experienced as a child or even as an adult?
Well, that's actually something that will often tie in subconsciously, which is why it's important to use energy psychology, so you can go in and access all those blocks that are attached to that grief, right? So everybody thinks that, okay, this loss that I'm experiencing, it's because so-and-so died. It's because I lost my job. It's because my husband left me, right? It's because my dog died, whatever it is, right? But there's a deeper way to view that. And that's what this is about.
Great. Anna says, you taking what worked for you to help others is so inspiring. Absolutely.
Thank you, Anna.
I love that. So I know we have a great gift for everybody here just for showing up live. Can you let everybody know what that is?
Yes, I have. You have access to a free copy of my book, The Grief Cure, and you can get that at thegriefcurebook.com. And it's a free PDF copy, so feel free to get right in there and sign up.
Awesome. Fantastic. One other question, well, I actually have two other questions, but the first one is, what do you have? Do you have anything upcoming, anything that we can know about and ways to connect to you?
Well, I have a couple of workshops coming up next month in Massachusetts. On the 20th, I'll be at the Hartwell Institute. And about a week later, I believe it's the 27th, I will be at Roots Yoga. I'll be doing workshops based on my book at both places.
Great. And you do coaching, I'm assuming, or you do some sort of online work with people?
Yes.
Okay, great. And they can find that at your site. They can book a session with you if they're interested at your website.
So if you get my book, you will get a link for the opportunity for a consultation with me.
Okay, awesome. And let everybody know how they can actually reach you if they wanted to.
Well, you can certainly find me at the Wellness Universe.
Awesome, yes.
And I'm also a lot of other places. A good way to reach me is through my book. Okay. And I'm also have another website, paradigmshiftri.com.
Okay, fabulous. So I always like to ask everybody this one question, and it's just to get to know, just really digs into more about you. If you had the opportunity to share a message with the entire world, you were given a microphone and you knew everybody was listening, in 60 seconds, what would you want to share?
I would really just want to encourage people to live an unlimited life, because we have the ability to break through any block. And we live in an unbelievable time where there are so many resources at our fingertips. There's no reason why we have to be stuck with anything. So
yes. No, perfect. And especially, you're in the community of the Wellness Universe, and there are so many healing resources out there, especially, like I said, at the Wellness Universe, and people like you are world changers like you who are doing such powerful work that none of us should be suffering in our life. So
exactly.
Awesome. Fabulous. And then everybody, just so you know, on April 17th, we're actually doing an expert panel, a free expert panel discussion on curing emotional trauma. There's going to be 4 other experts from the Wellness Universe who are going to be leading that. I think, Anna, the Wellness Universe, we put the link in there. So we would love for you to come and join us and dive a little bit deeper into more about trauma. Alyson, it's such a pleasure speaking to you, getting to know a little bit more about you. Is there any last words that you would like to say as far as anything about grief or trauma, or advice for someone that's actually going through the heart of it right now?
Just know that you have the power to heal, and don't let anyone tell you different.
Powerful. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody, for watching, whether you're here with us live or you watch the recording. Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. And let's just be a whole bunch of happy, healthy, and whole people, because that's how we create a happy, healthy, and whole world. Thank you for being here, Alyson.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.